All right, so I just want to react to something that I seen today on social media by none other than Master P, Ghetto D, right? Which shout out to Master P. I see that he's been on a spiritual journey of some sort. I seen him at Apex, which is Ryan Stewman's event, and he was out there, man. I mean, he was fully just talking about God, giving all glory to God. Like, it definitely looks like God got a hold of him. And so that's always cool to see because I grew up on his music. And it was nothing but bad during those days. So it's good to see Master P. But I wanted to point out some of this wisdom that's kind of going around a lot, especially on social media. And I wanted to just make an observation. And of course, put some before you and then hear your thoughts on it as well. So this is what the post says. It says, they mocked Joseph as a dreamer, but later bowed before him as a king. God will humble all your mockers by lifting you higher. You know, when I read stuff like that, I think the number one motivation is self, right? Like, and you might even notice when you read it too, you might feel the first thing that kind of gets, awakened in you is like, yeah, that's right. And what I want to point out is that if that is the case, which makes sense from this kind of post, that's wrong. That's bad. Like, I get the idea of, not wanting people to hate on you, but I don't get the idea of somehow your success is a message to the people that hated on you. Like, it's not even your success. First of all, like that would be God's success, right? Like, and I get what it's trying to say here. It's, God will humble all your mockers by lifting you higher. Like, he's going to use you in his ways to show them. But that's where I just think we're settling for a lesser version at that point. The reality of it is, and this is what I put, actually commented on it for the sake of just sharing a different opinion. I put, God humbling my mockers is irrelevant to me. Because the reality of it is it is. Look at the first sentence of that 2-sentence post. They mocked Joseph as a dreamer, but later bowed before him as a king. If they would have just left it at that, okay, like there's some insinuation there, like, hey, man, like I'm going to prove you wrong. But this whole idea of like, I'm going to prove you wrong or God's going to humble you through me, I think that it's a bit dangerous. And I think that it promotes a continual condition inside of a person that continually needs to feel validated, that needs to feel justified, that needs to feel seen and heard. And all those things are important. But I don't think you're going to get those. Actually, I know you're not going to get those on social media. And in addition to that, it's not very wise. Just think about wisdom. It's not very wise to actually put those kind of messages out into the world. It's just not wise. Can you do it? Are you like, yeah, do whatever you want, right? Like, is it some egregious error? Like, no, it's not. And most of the time it's too complicated for people to really like, if they don't agree with it, it's too complicated they're just like, whatever, but they feel it in their spirit. Like, not it. Right. And once again, why? Because it keeps people in a continual, perpetual state of hurt. Your mockers don't matter. People that assaulted you don't matter. People that try to come against you don't matter. Like, they don't matter in the sense of you needing to prove something for them, to them, because of them. Like, that's has nothing to do with whatever increase or blessing that God would bring into your life. It is going to be as a demonstration of things that he's entrusted you with and out of his goodness and kindness. Like, that's it. It ain't to settle some other dispute over here that you got with your brother. It ain't for none of that stuff. It's simply for you and him. And that's it. And that's all it should be. And that's all that you should actually even allow yourself to desire, even though those kind of messages are desirable. Don't get me wrong. Like, we all have felt hurt or betrayed or trespassed in some way. We all want things to be made right. And listen, I think that there's a certain godly element to that's important. But I also think that can get perverted and turned into something that it's not supposed to be, which is a person that constantly needs to feel validated, constantly needs to feel like they're on top, even though they walk and they live and they're existing inside this victim mindset, right? This mentality that is subjugated to everything around them. It's definitely something that you don't want to live in. There's no fruit that is grown in those particular mindsets. There's no fruit that is grown in a spirit that approaches God in that way. It's self-vindication, it's self-representation, it's self-survival. And ultimately, that's always settling for a lesser version.